Hey class, and welcome to another math video. In this video, we are going to compare fractions. So make sure that you watch the first one and all of our good fraction vocabulary because I'm going to use it in this video. At the end, we are going to talk about comparing equivalent fractions too. So just wait for that. I'm not going to take too long though. I'm just going to hop right in. Go ahead and watch me disappear and move on to our first slide. Says Rashad ate 3/4 of his chocolate bar. Leandra ate 4/4 of her chocolate bar. Who finished their candy bar? How much more does the other still have to eat? So I see Rashad, and I'm going to go ahead. You see below, I made a model. That's going to be my strategy. I put a video on how to draw these things, as well as how to make those fraction tiles. So I hope that you were able to look at one, and if you were able to make those fraction tiles, use them now. But I'm just going to go ahead and shade mine in. You can do this by drawing a picture too. So 3/4 would be 3 out of 4. I see that I've already have 4 of my boxes, so I really just need to color in 3 of those. And sorry guys, my pen seems to be a little funky today, a little patchy. So I fill in 3. And notice guys, I'm just doing it the best I can. I'm not overly worried about being neat and tidy as long as I don't flow into any other boxes. Same thing, Leandra, but she's got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 4. And this is something I just do kind of, guys, to try to help me stay in the lines. And then I just scribble, scribble, scribble to make sure all that's covered. So now that I have my models drawn to help me see what 3/4 and 4/4 better looks like, I need to answer my question. Who finished their candy bar? I think we can see easily that Leandra finished her candy bar. So I'm going to write right here. If I got it, there we go. Leandra finished her candy bar. And I'm actually going to use those good vocabulary words we talked about. Finished her whole candy bar. Because 4 out of 4 up here, got 4 out of our 4 slices. So that means it's 1 whole. And then looking at our second question, how much more does the other still have to eat? If we said Leandra finished the whole, Rashad still has more to eat. And it looks like here he just has that 1 at the end. And we know 1 in the numerator spot, 1/4, is going to be a unit. That is when we have a 1 in the numerator spot. So Rashad still has a unit of his fraction left to eat. So I'm going to go ahead and add that then using complete sentences because I'm trying really hard to get us to write out those thoughts, remember. So Rashad still has 1 unit left of his candy bar to eat. All right, and that would be an O answer. We've drawn our model, used our strategy, and then we finish in a complete sentence, answering both questions. Let's see what the next problem has for us. This one I'm using circle graphs instead of bar graphs. So this one you'll probably have to draw because I didn't put any models, and unless somehow you have circle graphs at home, I think we're gonna have to draw it, and you'll get to see me draw a little bit too. So it says, James made a 16-inch pizza and cut it into 8 pieces. Dayton also made a 16-inch pizza, but cut his into 4 pieces. They both ate 3 slices of their pizza. Who ate the least amount of pizza? So we're not looking for most right now. We're looking for the smaller number. So let's get back on my drawing tool. Sorry about that. I'm going to split James' pizza up first. And it doesn't look like I have a name under here, so I'm going to put a J. To remind myself, this is going to be James's pizza. And at first, I'm going to put it in fourths, and then I can keep splitting those in half because 4 is half of 8. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slices for James' pizza. That's James's pizza. This is Dayton. And this is just like me drawing a model, guys. So you could be drawing a model right along with me. He only has fourths, so I can just do my plus sign in the middle of his pizza. And I just have 1, 2, 3, 4 now. So I've got James with 8 pieces, Dayton with 4 pieces. It looks like they both ate the same amount of pieces, and that's 3. If you remember cubes, you might have used that strategy already and gone it through and circled your problem, so you were a step ahead of me. I'm going to shade in 3, because if they each ate 3, 1, 2, 3. Dayton ate 3 as well. Ooh, looks like Dayton's pieces are a lot bigger than James's pieces. You must have been hungry, Dayton. All right, now this is another problem just like the one before. I think we can see who ate more just by looking at it through the models we've drawn. But let's talk about it a little bit, because I think if we were to see 3/8 and 3/4 written, we might think that this is our bigger number because of the 8 on the bottom. However, you'll see by looking at our model that when you have a smaller number on the bottom, like 4, its pieces will be bigger because you have less pieces to divide your pizza in. But with 8, we have more pieces to split up our pizza, so our slices are smaller. So looking at our models, I think we could probably come back up to the top and explain, take my drawing tool off first, but explain our answer. So I'm going to say up here, James ate the least amount of pizza. Then I'm going to explain my answer. I know this because I drew the models below. And that's just me explaining in my words. How did you figure it out? I know this because I drew the models below. That's how I figured it out. If you want to know, Miss Sauer, how I figured it out, look for yourself. You can see these models I've illustrated and I'm showing you my work. And you can see that this is a bigger amount of the circle than this. Go ahead and move on. We're going to move on now to an irregular shape. See if we can figure out a fraction with a bit of an irregular shape. Our problem here is Braxton filled his cup up 4/6 of the way with Sprite. Tyrone filled his cup up 3/6 of the way with Dr. Pepper. Whose glass is fuller? Who filled their glass up halfway? So the first thing we have to do here, guys, is start by kind of ticking our glass or measuring our glass, just like we would a ruler. We know at the bottom, if we had all the way down here, that's going to be 0. We don't have anything filling our cup. It's empty. Now, looking at our fractions at the top, 4/6 and 3/6. Our whole number is 6 because that's our bottom number. So that's going to be if it was filled all the way to the tippy top. That's going to be our 6. But now we've got to go and fill in the numbers from 0 all the way to 6. Now, instead of making this harder, I'm going to try to work smarter and find my middle first. Instead of just drawing tallies all willy-nilly like this, maybe see how some are close together and some are further apart. Instead of just guessing and estimating, I'm going to go with something I know first. I'm going to use my benchmark fraction of a half. And half of 6 I know is 3. So I think that's about half. I eyeballed it and I know half of 6 is 3. So that's going to be my middle. Then it allows me an easier way of making it even up the side. It allows me to space out those numbers a little bit more. And like I said, guys, sorry, my pen is a little weird today. But looking at this, I think we can see who answers our second part of this question. Who filled their glass up halfway? I already told you I already know half of 6. 3. So Tyrone filled his up 3/6. So we don't have to answer our questions in the order they ask them. We can answer them in the order we want. So I'm going to say Tyrone filled his glass up halfway. I know this because 3 is half of 6. So let's look back now at our first question. Whose glass is fuller? Well, let's look at Braxton's. Braxton had 4/6. So we know Tyrone. We'll make this Tyrone's cup. Ooh, drawing tool. Tyrone and Braxton. This is Tyrone's. We already said he filled his up halfway. So we know Braxton is at 4. So he already met that 3 because 3 is less than 4. So now we've got 4, and 5. So Braxton looks like he drank one more ounce. It doesn't really give us a measurement here, does it? But one more of something than Tyrone did, because he drank 4-6 instead of 3-6. Chocolate milk, I guess, would be. We don't know how much chocolate milk. So I'm going to add here at the end, Braxton drank more chocolate milk because 4 is one more than 3. And that's your explanation for how do you know he drank more? Because if Tyrone drank half, Braxton drank one more than a half. You could say that too. He drank one more than a half. All right. Our word problem here, it says Kari chalked 8/10 of the sidewalk in front of her house. Michael only chalked 3/10 of the sidewalk by his house. Who decorated the most sidewalk? So I'm going to give you a second. I'm going to pause our video here to try to figure this one out on your own. And then I'm going to just restart it with my problem already solved. So I'm going to take your time right now. You pause your video, I'm pausing mine. Pause it and try to solve this one on your own. Use your fraction tiles or draw this model below. Make sure you did the work and pause your video. All right, this is my work. I drew my models. I see that Kari has 8 out of her 10 pieces of sidewalk colored. Michael has 3 out of his 10 pieces of sidewalk color. Now we're ready to answer our question. Who decorated the most sidewalk? Another time that it is so easy to see who decorated the most. So quickly, turn off my pen tool again. All right, there we go, guys. Sorry about that. So I can say Kari decorated the most sidewalk. Oop, looks like I spelled it wrong. Oh, and that's the weirdest, when it doesn't give it to you. Sorry about that, guys. Kari decorated, I think that's how we spell it right too, the most sidewalk. And you can see that from the model below. I'm not going to explain. But our next question was, who is closer to the half? Now, I think we might say Kari because she's over a half. But who's closer to that half? I can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is my total. And I know that half of 10 is 5. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take my drawing tool and I'm going to go ahead and cut right in half both of these sidewalks. Who's closer to the half? That's our question. Michael is only 2 bricks away from having a half. Kari is over our half for sure, and she seems to be closer to our whole. She's only 2 bricks away from our whole. So if I were explaining this, again, guys, I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting to switch back off my drawing tool. If I were explaining this, I would simply say, Michael is closer to a half, but Kari has more than a half. So these are certain questions that we want to make sure to pay attention to, because it looks like Michael's closer to the half because Kari has 3 more pieces than the half. But she technically already has one. She's closer to her whole. So maybe we would say Michael is closer to a half, but Kari has more than half. So she has more than what she needs. Answering it fully. Our last question here, guys. I'm going to leave this up for you, just running at the end until our 15 minutes is up, because I can only record for 15 minutes. I'm going to then post this question here as a question on our stream. And I'm going to leave it up. So make sure you're watching this video. Make sure you look here. I'll read it for you. I even drew some models here down at the bottom so you can draw them for yourself in order to answer. And look out for this question that I will be posting on our stream. Denisha posted 12 TikTok videos yesterday. Today, Damari watched 6 out of the 12. And Kyron watched 1/2 of her videos.